I want to move on to another story that's come out today. The Bureau of Labor Statistics admitted that more than 900,000 jobs that Joe Biden claimed to have created were never actually created at all. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has revised down their job numbers from April 2024 to March 2025 by 911,000 jobs. Now, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that the revision on record proves that President Trump was right and that Biden's economy was a disaster. Jeff, this means that there were virtually no jobs created in the last year of the Biden administration.
Well, it was all a lie. The president should have fired the BLS director because they were using phony numbers. Obviously, they were trying to prop up Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and help them win election. President Trump inherited a bad economy. I mean, the narrative was that Biden and Harris did such a great job for the economy. Look at these jobs. Well, they're phantom jobs. They didn't exist. And you had Jerome Powell helping, and that's the Federal Reserve chair, helping Biden and Harris by lowering interest rates. Now he's not doing it. He's trying to hurt the Trump administration. So we had a rigged system in 2024 trying to help Biden and Harris win. Thankfully, the American people saw through it. Because, even though the stats said the economy was doing well, I think people felt that it wasn't. And they knew that there was something wrong. And that's why they elected Donald Trump, because they wanted to change.
Well, let's talk about the Democrats and who they're defending at the moment. Last week, the US military hit a Venezuelan boat in the southern Caribbean carrying drugs to America. So 11 suspected Tren de Agra narco terrorists were killed in the strike, and Vice President J.D. Vance wrote on X, killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. But of course, anti-Trump personalities have kind of hit back at this. One person claimed killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime. And of course, J.D. Vance hit back saying, I don't give a beep. I think J.D. Vance is right about this. I mean, who are the Democrats trying to defend here?
Hey, the Democrats' constituency are criminals, illegal aliens. Their poster child is Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Yeah.
They're all worried about these drug dealers that were blown away by our military, that they didn't get due process. They were bringing poison into our country to kill Americans. So the Democrats, those are the people the Democrats care about. They don't care about the people that are victims of crime, the people that are trying to make a living, the law-abiding folks. They're focused on the criminals and the illegals. And that's just the difference between the two parties. And we're going to see this play out over the next year until the midterm elections. But this is a winning strategy for the Trump administration. Close the border, deal with the illegal immigration problem here, and try to stop the flow of drugs into our country and declare war on the cartels. And I think we're really getting serious in going after the drug cartels now.
Absolutely. Look, I want to talk to you about what is happening with Gen Z, because it appears that Gen Z men who backed Donald Trump last year rated having children at the top of a list of choices of how to define personal success. Yet, I don't know if you'll be surprised by this, Jeff, but Gen Z women who backed Kamala Harris rated it to second last. So this is according to the latest NBC News Decision Desk poll powered by SurveyMonkey, which shows how the political gender gap persists alongside different social beliefs between young men and young women. So let's just look at the top priorities for these Gen Z women who apparently voted for Kamala Harris. Number one, having a job or career that you find that you find fulfilling. Look, obviously that's important. I don't know if it needs to be number one. Number two, having enough money to do the things that you want. Number three, achieving financial independence. 4, having emotional stability. 5, using your talents and resources to help others. Owning your own home is number 6. Number 7, having no debt. Number 8, being spiritually grounded. 9, making your family or community proud. And then all the way down to number 10. That is where these Gen Z women have ranked putting children. That's their list of priorities, all the way down to number 10. And then after that, number 11 is being married. Jeff, can I get your thoughts on that? I mean, number 10 in terms of what success looks like. What do you put this down to? Is it the rise of the feminism movement? I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Yes. Yes, no, it definitely is a rise of feminism. You've seen, I think, women take a greater interest in a career than getting married and having children. That they view that as not progressive. They view that as being, traditional, old-fashioned.
Mm.
And I think you see it in the election results. I mean, if the election were just women, Republicans would never win. I mean, Donald Trump did very well among young men. He did very poorly among young women. So there's a massive gender gap that's getting bigger as the years go by. So that is a problem. I mean, the United States is not having the kind of fertility rate that we need to replicate our population and to grow our country. So I know people like Elon Musk and others are very worried about that. And I think it is a very serious problem. So I don't know what it's going to take to bring men and women together politically to have interest in having families again. But right now, it's not there. And just from my observations of traveling around, it looks like the marriage rate is going down. It looks like people are staying single longer.
Hmm.
And if they do get married, fewer are having kids. And certainly, you're not seeing the kind of larger families that you had. Like I come from a family of six. You don't see that very often at all anymore in our country.
Yeah, same here in Australia. The birth rate decline is a huge problem. Look, I want to talk to you about Donald Trump speaking at the Museum of the Bible in Washington yesterday. And he was also bringing a new focus to news that the Biden administration weaponized the federal government against Christians, including the pro-life movement. Now, this task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias is chaired by Attorney General Pam Bondi. And after a preliminary review of federal agencies and departments, the task force uncovered numerous instances of anti-Christian bias during the Biden administration. Jeff, what more can you tell us about this?
No, there's no doubt that that is accurate. The FBI was targeted to go after Christians, to go after traditional Catholics, to go after pro-life supporters, throwing people in jail that were protesting outside abortion clinics, considering those that went to Latin Mass as being potential terrorists. I mean, it's obscene what was really done in the Biden administration to go after traditional religious conservative Christians. And I'm glad the president is bringing it up. I'm glad he's talking about anti-Christian bias.
Mm.
You don't hear that much from political leaders about that, and I'm glad the president's bringing it up. And there's also discrimination against Christians that's going on in many countries around the world. They're being targeted, they're being persecuted, and sadly, in many cases, being killed. So hopefully this will lead to more attention on that important issue.
Absolutely. Finally, Bill Maher has admitted that Donald Trump actually had a point about liberal elitist institutions such as Harvard exposing the university's diversity myth. Listen to this.
Yes, you can move too far left. And when you do, you wind up pushing the people in the middle to the right. At its worst, Canada is what American voters think happens when there's no one putting a check on extreme wokeness. They say in politics, liberals are the gas pedal and conservatives are the brakes. And I'm generally with the gas pedal, but not if we're driving off a cliff. Sweden opened its borders to over 1.5 million immigrants since 2010, and now 20% of its citizens are foreign-born, and its education system is tanking, and it has Europe's highest rate of gangland killings, to which liberals say blaming immigrants for the rising crime rate is racist. Yeah, but is it true? Of course it's true. It's not a coincidence the quality of life went down after the Somali gangs started a drug turf war using hand grenades. Calling it racist doesn't solve the problem.
Jeff, can I get your reaction?
I love the fact that Bill Maher every now and then speaks 100% the truth. Ever since he had dinner with Donald Trump, he has sort of been red-pilled. I mean, he's sort of moving to a more sensible direction. I mean, he used to be so far left. I mean, we couldn't even relate to him. But now he's speaking common sense on a lot of issues. And I'm glad to see it because he's a popular talk show host. He has a big audience. And maybe he's influencing some of these people that are watching him to see things differently. We certainly don't see it with the late night comedians. They're hopeless. But I think Bill Maher is someone that has really seen the light on a lot of these issues. So I'm glad to see it.
Jeff Crouere, thank you so much for your time. Love having you on Power Hour.
Thanks for having me.